Hello, 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 beautiful people. Hello, world. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. God is not a man that he should lie, the Son of Man that he should repent. Had he said it, shall he not make it good? He'll make it good. Um, there's a system that God has set in place. It's called seed time and harvest. And a lot of people make the mistake of what it looks like because they discard the seed. No, everything is in the seed, like the blood. The life is in the blood. The seed is where you get your multiplications. I was watching something the other day, and this lady, African lady, received something from another lady. She brought her a pumpkin. And when she cut the pumpkin, that one pumpkin had so many seeds. And all I was looking at was pumpkin trees, and all I was looking at orchards. God has given you everything that you would ever need, but you're not looking at it from the right lenses. You saying this all I got. But when you work what God has given you, remember the talents? The 1, the 2, the 5? The one who had the 1 talent, he took that what he had, he took that money and he hid it, he buried it. He ain't do nothing with it. The one who had the 2, he worked that thing and that 2 became 4. And the one who had 5, he worked that thing and that 5 became 10. And when the Lord came back and he asked for his increase, the one, he said, well, I know you was you wanted to reap where you have not sown, so I hid it. So he said, if you know I wanted to reap where I have not sown, why did you not increase what I gave you? So he took it from the one who had the least. He called him wicked. He took the one who had the least and gave that one who had the least and give that to the one who multiplied and make it 10. So people, I know people thinking that God going to take from the rich and give to the poor. That's not how God operate. God operate by a system. What you sow, you go reap. You know what I'm saying? And so when you see people are being blessed by God's system, that's the way it's supposed to work. If you're not working the system, I don't care how much you pray. I don't care how much you fast. I don't care what you do. It ain't going to work for you because you're not implementing the system. There's and everything in place. It's a system. You can't violate the system. You can't go out your way out of the system and think that's going to work or end up well for you. So you got to work within the system. You got to work what God has given you. And there's a law that is set in motion. He says, long as the earth remains, there is seed, there is time, and there is harvest. So as long as earth remains, and as long you got seeds, you got a harvest. And people not seeing things in the right lens. People even know how blessed they are. That one seed that you got, you better thank God for that one seed and work that one seed. What God has given you. What you got in your hand. You got a gift. You got the gift of God. Work that gift of God. You got that gift of service. Work that gift of service. Whatever you got, work that thing. Not only that, God say, your gifts will make room for you and bring you before great men. It doesn't matter if someone don't like what you got that God has given you. God got someone out there that will love what you got, appreciate what you got, and pay for what you got. Go where you are celebrated and not tolerated. Don't accept mediocre. Don't accept average. Don't accept whatever would be would be. You make one what you want to happen. Don't settle. Me, I I asked my wife if she think I'm a hard person to deal with. I say, no, babes. You're one of the easiest person to deal with. You just know what you stand for. Laziness ain't gonna cut it with you. Untidiness and selfishness and certain things she label off ain't gonna cut it with you. You know what I'm saying? Man, look, I'm right is right and wrong is wrong to me. It doesn't have a color. It doesn't have a denomination. It doesn't have a race. It doesn't have a sex. It doesn't matter to me. So there ain't no double standards. There ain't talk about don't do as I do, but do as I say. One law applied to all of us. And when we apply the law or the principles, we all going to have what we have. So, and you know, right, we're in a time right now where people are doing a lot of crazy stuff. The crazy has become normal. Boy, if y'all know what y'all about to receive, the harvest from your crazy, man, y'all got a lot of regret coming. And for those that act like there ain't no God, for those that try to point their finger in God's eye, man, y'all about to bow. Whether bow to sickness, disease, or humiliation, or whatever, you think you can go around violating God's laws and violating law, period, and nothing happen? Because of your title? Because of the money that you hold? No. You can't buy your way into heaven. You can't. I don't care. They might have people, and this earth system is corrupt. God's system is not corrupt. You can't buy your way through Christ. You can't steal your way through Christ. You can't do unrighteous, unjust things and get away with Christ. No, you can't buy your way into heaven. There's only one way into heaven through Jesus Christ. You got to go through the blood. Like in Egypt, when the dead angel was about to pass, they say God gave Moses instruction to put blood on the four-post, the post of the door. And he said, when the dead angel see that the dead angel go pass by, if I don't care if you was a Jew, I don't care if you was a slave, I don't care what you was, if you didn't have the blood, you was going to die, the firstborn. So when God says what God says, he mean what he say. God don't change his word. All depends on the situational basis. God ain't biased. What apply to one, apply to all. So for those who think that they can avert the law or taking bribes or let not justice take place, and you think you got away with it, you ain't get away with nothing. And the great thing about God is promotion doesn't come from man, it comes from God. So regardless of people recognizing you, appreciating what you're doing, don't worry about that, because you ain't doing it to man, you do it unto the Lord. Because it's going to come a day and time where you're going to get your harvest. There's going to come a day and time where you're going to reap what you sow. But the thing about reaping is you're going to get much more than you sowed, whether good or bad. Everyone going to get their harvest. So them seeds that you sowing, you better make sure you sowing some good seeds. Because there's a due date. And everybody going to experience that. No one is exempt. All the stuff I do, you think I do it all the time because I like doing it? I do it because, first of all, I love God. And number two, whatever God says will come to pass. So if you ain't want bad come to you, don't do bad. If you want more good come to you, better do good. If you want to do more reaping, you better do more sowing. Life is not complicated. And people who think that they are hoarders, and people who think they can go and just take and you think the Lord don't apply to you, who are you? You deceive. You think if you tell yourself enough time that you can imagine the stove is hot, and you tell yourself, I gonna touch this, I gonna will this, I gonna touch this hot stove, and I gonna get burned. I don't care how much will and all this other stuff you go touch a hot stove, you gonna get burned. So if you want what God say you can have, you got to do what God say you can have, but you got to do it his way. And the Bible said without faith it's impossible to please God. And faith is an action word. You can't say you got faith and there's no corresponding action by what you're saying. I want to let you know, I love you guys, but God love you more. Stay blessed, Ron. Yes, sir.